Retro Nerd.
And welcome everybody once again to another episode of the Animanicast.
Pinky, are you pondering what I'm pondering?
I think so, Ali Babrain, but a waterbed filled with ranch dressing, ooh, it's almost too obvious.
Welcome everybody to the Animanicast. This is the podcast that is dedicated to the animated television series Animaniacs, as well as other shows in the Rugerverse, such as Pinky the Brain, Tiny Toon Adventures, and Freakazoid. And today we are talking about episode 12 of the Animaniacs Reboot. That's right, we're going to revisit all the cultural references and gags. And of course, in the end, we're going to give this episode of the Animaniacs Reboot a Water Tower rating. I am Joey, and joining me once again are my co-hosts. There's my brother Nathan.
Hey, I don't need you to mansplain about manspreading.
Right then. And across the country in Georgia, it's Kelly.
Hello.
Hello. Well, today we are talking about episode 12 of the reboot. There's only one more episode of season 1 of the reboot to discuss, to review after this one. And today's episode features 3 segments. Azit, or I should say Azit! Exclamation mark, because there's an exclamation mark in the title.
Nice.
Yeah. And the middle segment was 1001 Narfs. And the last one was Manny Manspreader. And Nathan and Kelly, if someone were to ask you about this episode, how would you describe it in a few words? Nathan?
There's a song, we have some stories, and we've got a movie.
With a crab.
Yes.
And Kelly, what about you?
When I said I wanted more segments devoted to songs, this is not what I meant.
Well, of course, we all know that the reboot, season 1 of the reboot, came out on November 20th of 2020, which, of course, takes us to our November 20th trivia segment. So, Nathan, why don't you hit us with the November 20th trivia theme song?
Do you want to know what day today is? Well, I don't know, but I can tell you November 20th was a day, and here's what happened on it.
Wow, okay. So, Nathan, what happened in our November 20th trivia? What happened on November 20th? So many things.
Yeah. Oh, man. Okay, so I'm going to break this up into all be related to the segment itself, this whole episode. Okay. So we got, songs? We got going to, Egypt or Arab or something. We got a movie.
Iraq.
And then I got the theme to tie it all together. All right?
Okay.
So 2001, Pink released her second album, Misunderstood, which Pinky's always misunderstood, I think, right? And yeah. Pink and Pinky, and it's a song thing.
Works.
All right. There we go. Okay, 1977, Egyptian President Anwar Sadat becomes the first Arab leader to officially visit Israel when he meets Israel Prime Minister Minchin Begin and speaks before the yes, exactly. And before Knesset in Jerusalem seeking a permanent peace settlement. So that's something like in that area, Egypt, yes, or Arabia, or somewhere in Middle East. 2004, Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou was released on November 20th. So we got underwater, we got life and things like that, right?
It's dealing with a movie. It is a movie.
It is a movie.
With water. And
done with water and fighting. I think they had to fight a big monster.
Bill Murray in that too?
He is.
Yes. Yeah.
Well, I have the theme to tie in this whole episode. When I saw this, I was like, oh my gosh, this is what ties in every segment. Okay. So in 1820, there was an 80-ton sperm whale that attacked and sank the Essex, 2,000 miles from the western coast of South Africa, which Herman Melville's 1851 novel, Moby Dick, is in part inspired by this story. And Moby Dick is mentioned in the Zit episode segment. And we've got a story that he wrote, which there's stories in the next segment, and then it's about fighting a giant monster, which is all about the third segment. So boom, it's all connected to Moby Dick.
Yeah, I guess Manny Manspreader was. Oh, I guess I was going to say Manny Manspreader was a monster as well.
He is a giant monster as well, and there's a giant crab. So.
And there's a crab.
So there we go.
Yes, lots of monsters.
It's all connected.
Well, thank you so much, Nathan, for the November 20th trivia. Well, let's go ahead and get right into our discussion of today's episode, and let's start with the I was going to say directorial debut. What was I going to say? Let's start off with the variable verse, and the variable verse was critically acclaimy.
Critically acclaimy.
And it was Dot was holding a bunch of trophies.
So it must be true.
It must be true. I was kind of looking for, I don't know, like some things that the Animaniacs have actually won before, like the Emmys or a Peabody or something. But I
shows Steven Spielberg in the background, maybe.
Yes.
But nope. There was bowling trophies. There was a lot of silly trophies I think she was holding. And maybe they couldn't use anything that was too close to Emmy because they would get, you can't do that without paying somebody for the likeness, I suppose, of using that. So no, but it was there. I guess, I don't know if there's anything to say about the variable verse. Did you two like it?
It's fine.
Fine.
I fast forwarded through the opening.
Yeah. Well, you didn't miss much. This wasn't the most, exciting variable verse.
I was watching it on my lunch break.
This variable verse is not going to win any critical acclaim.
No.
I don't know what I want to say.
Well, let's get right into our discussion of the segments. And we're going to start off with a song, an actual song that they didn't interrupt or anything. It is called Azit. And Azit was written by Timothy Nash and Lucas Crandalls, and it was directed by Brett Varon. And I guess apparently Randy Rogel might have helped out with this as well, according to
he's sounds like I'm mad.
It certainly does.
There was no notes on this, so all these notes are from me. But
good job, Nathan.
Yeah. It is, if you look at the credits, it's the song itself is called Zit, and that one is written by Lucas Crandalls, Timothy Nash, and Randy Rogel. Just sad that he doesn't get any credit on the
Why doesn't he
page.
Get top billing?
Because
I guess
the segment's called Azit. He only wrote .zit. So, the 5 lines of dialogue before the song starts.
Oh, I'm sure
he didn't contribute to that. So, sorry, Randy. No credit for you.
So I think Timothy and Lucas, wrote the song with him. I know there was a lot of collaboration with Randy on a lot of these songs.
They definitely wrote it with. They've got songwriting credit as well.
But they get the screenplay credit
because he didn't help write that
part.
Yeah.
That stirring dialogue right there before they got started.
We have to go.
There's the basic story. And this is Dot. She looks in the mirror and then she finds out that she has a zit, and she starts singing about it because she's very upset.
A zit. My fans will throw a fit. My gorgeous face of charm and grace has never had a single trace of anything that's out of place, and now I have a zit. Don't like it a bit. Because it's big, it's sore, and it's clogging up my pore. Just look at this, it's really sick, like something out of a horror flick. It's gonna ruin my cover pick. It's twice as big as Moby Dick. I gotta get rid of it really quick. I really hate this zit. Calm down a bit.
And it's kind of cute because Yakko and Wacko, they kind of say, "Oh, it's it's growing on you," and funny little lines like that. But it takes a turn when the zit actually comes. You find out that it's a sentient zit.
That it's just a little spot.
It's nothing. No, it's not. It's awful. See, just look up close. It's so disgusting and morose.
Oh my goodness, that is gross. I have got a dot.
Was that my spot?
A dot. I can't believe I've got this great big thing. I don't know what. A little girl with a pixie cut is growing right here on my butt. A great big one, a dot. Who'd have thought?
And it's on his butt. And he wanted to do things like go to Idaho and things like that. But through all this, back and forth singing, which, like Kelly mentioned, is very much like I'm mad. they end up becoming friends, and they do go to Idaho. And unfortunately, because the Zit does mention at one point in the song that he only lives a week, the song ends with a memorial to the Zit. And that's pretty much it. The Zit died. It was only there for a while.
Azit.
I've got it done.
I never dreamed.
I never thought
I'd be so horrified right in my gut. It's on my face.
It's on my butt.
Azit.
I
tell you what, I don't know what to do. Azit.
I have a dot.
My face will throw a fit.
Somehow it got
It's growing on me. It's on my face.
It's on my butt.
I can't erase
I'm in a
it.
rut.
I don't know
I don't know what to do.
But what did you guys think about this first song? Did you think it was funny? Were there things that you liked or didn't like? Let's start with Kelly. You did not like Azit.
No, I mean, I thought the memorial was the funniest part. So when it died, so that tells you anything. Yeah, and it sounded, the whole time I was like, God, it sounds like something. It sounds like another Animaniacs song. And it took me a minute to realize it sounds a lot like I'm Mad. I mean, even like the tempo and the way it kind of speeds up and slows down some. And
even like the plot of it is a little bit like, and I'm mad to like, we have to go, it's time to leave. And that's how this one starts. And then they're all mad to start off with. And then by the end, they're all friends kind of thing. Like,
yeah, that's true. Yeah. Plot wise, it has a similar structure.
yeah, I mean, it was kind of cute when he got to go to the, what was it, the zoo or something. But
Boise Zoo, I think it was.
mm-hmm.
He was really excited. But yeah, I mean, I don't want to listen to a song about a zit. I don't want to think about zits, really.
I will say that this song, when we first heard about this this episode, this segment, I thought it was going to be really, really gross. Especially with how gross this season has been. But I was actually pleasantly surprised that this wasn't as gross as it could have been.
That's true. True.
It was the Zit was I wouldn't necessarily call him cute, but he wasn't necessarily gross either. It didn't show him exploding or anything, although I think there was a little allusion to pus or something like that.
Yeah, he cries at one point, I think, and it's like gross. But
that was kind of gross, a little bit of pus or something. But Nathan, what did you think?
I thought this was really gross the first time I saw it, but each time since I've actually liked it more, which is the opposite of a lot of these segments. A lot of times, the more I watch it,
How many
the less
times
I
have
like
you
it.
watched it?
I probably watched it like 4 or 5 times.
4 or 5?
I don't know.
That's dedication.
Well, I mean, since it's been released, so I saw
That's
it like
true.
once way back, and I've seen it like 3 or 4 times.
That's
since.
true. Nathan did not wait. I
watched
Nathan
all these right
or
away.
Kelly
But
and I did.
I remember when I first saw it, back in November, I was like, "Ooh, I did not like that." And then but watching this on like and giving it time and everything, I've liked it more. But it is very similar to I'm Mad.
Yeah, and never really seems to hit the same. It's such a weird.
And I
thing.
rewatched I'm Mad this morning because I was like, "Oh, I miss it," and it's so good.
Oh, it's so wonderful.
Such a great song.
Yeah, I'm Mad is you can't. It felt like this was all. It was trying to do the same thing, and it's kind of like a sequel to a movie. It doesn't quite hit, even though you're literally hitting some of the same notes on this one. It was nice, but it was not as bad as I thought it was going to be. That was
Y'all are being nicer than me for once.
Steve and Julie Bernstein apparently sang in the song at some point. I don't know.
Really?
They got credits. I didn't hear it. I went back and tried to listen for them, but it says performed by Steve and Julie Bernstein, Jess Tress, Rob, and Kevin Michael Richardson, which is the Zit. So
yeah, Kevin Michael Richardson has done a lot of voice work. I know he's done stuff for like the 7D and stuff like that. I think Tom Ruger actually just gave him an award, if I'm not mistaken, for some voice acting thing they had, obviously virtually a couple months ago or something.
But yeah, I want to ask them what they did.
Yeah, but the music sounded pretty good. It was nice to hear an actual an orchestra. Obviously not as big as the original show due to many different reasons. The piano still sounded a little bit synthetic to me, but I'm not exactly sure why. It could have been a real piano. I really don't know. But anyway.
They mention she holds up a book called My Left Zit. Is that a reference to My Left Foot?
I think so. Yeah. Okay. My Left Zit, My Left Foot. Yeah, that's got to be a reference.
And then when she rubs pizza on her face, it's because you call someone with lots of pimples pizza face.
Well, and also it's a great way. I mean, the whole
greasy
face. I used to have horrible acne as a kid. Horrible acne. And like in middle school and into high school, and I took the dreaded Accutane.
Ooh,
yeah, Accutane. Which if you're a girl, they say don't you ever get pregnant because it like leads to horrible birth defects, and if you're a teenager, it leads to horrible depression.
And dry eye. I've got severe dry eye where I had to stop wearing contacts years ago, and I'd go online trying to find out things I could do to make it feel better, and so many people who suffer from dry eye took Accutane.
Really?
And
wow.
I was like, I'm so glad I never needed that.
Well, it cleared up my skin. It was horrible, and I had to take it for literally like 2 years every day. But you know what? It worked. So
well, you could have just stopped rubbing pizza on your face, but Joey refused to not do that. So
it feels good. It's a moisturizer. Well, let's go ahead and talk about the next segment. It's called 1001 Narfs. And 1001 Narfs was written by Kathleen Chen and Brian Polk, and it was directed by Brett Varon. And Nathan, why don't you tell us what happens in 1001 Narfs?
All right, we have another Pinky and the Brain segment, and Brain wants to try to rule the world. And they have their friend Egwin with them, who is immediately eaten by a fish.
That's me! Truly, our adventures up until now have been impoverished without your presence. Yes, no one can break up the trio of Pinky, the Brain, and Egwin. Not like this!
So they no longer have Egwin. But the plan is to steal all the Arabian horses. And of course, these horses get spooked easily, so they have to...
I don't know how that was supposed to... I wish there was a setup to why are they trying to get the horses?
They didn't.
Maybe
they just
say it.
I don't think so. I think when they say they'll steal them and they'll use them to take over the world.
Which is okay.
is my recollection, at least, of... Yeah. Like, whatever. Anyways, you can't spook the horses, so... Pinky's going to warn them with his seashell horn, which, of course, startles the horses, and then it gets Pinky and the Brain captured by the guard who's guarding the horses, but he was asleep. Anyways, he takes him over to the princess or the queen or whatever she's doing, the sultan. What's the female sultan?
Sultana, I think is what they said in the
so there we go.
The description.
I found these two spies lurking in your stables. And then I brought them here, and then we had this conversation.
They take them to the Sultana, who is bored by the story of the capture of Pinky and the Brain, and has them executed. Then Brain's like, "Hey, wait! If you want a story, I've got a story for you." And he tells a story about a woodchucker who sees some thieves putting some money into a secret cave. The password to the cave is cave 123. So he's able to steal a bunch of gold, and he takes him to his friend, Pinkib, I think. Yes. He shows him this gold, but Pinkib was jealous and also wanted the gold for himself. So he tried to break into the cave, but was captured when he couldn't remember the password.
No, maybe open sesame.
Incorrect username password combination. Would you like to answer your security questions?
Oh, fun!
What are the 9 middle names of your firstborn son?
I don't have a
In what year did Mongols first invade your childhood city-state?
Oh dear, this is a toughie.
Prove you're not a robot by finding all the buses in this picture.
What's a bus?
Are you sure you're not a robot?
I don't know anything anymore!
This woodchucker, Babrain is his name, I believe. He is about to make a device to take over the world, and that's when the story stops, because Sultana wants to know what happened to Pinkib. And Pinky also wants to know what happened to Pinkib. See, Pinky Pinkbad looks like Pinky, and Babrain looks like Brain in this story. So
Yes.
pretty cool looking. So they start speculating, like maybe the thieves wanted to punish Pinkbad, or maybe Pinkbad became friends with the thieves. But Brain doesn't like any of these ideas, and in one of them, Pinkbad becomes a mermaid, which makes no sense. But in any case,
and almost kisses one of the other thieves. They have this moment
it's
where
like
they
almost a
look into
love
each
story
other's
going.
eyes.
But Sultana likes this story.
I hate to interrupt you right there, but I gotta mention it now before I totally forget again. But speaking of Pinky kissing and everything like that, did you two notice in our last episode, there was the bride of Pinky, and at the end, of course, the bride falls out the window and everything.
Yeah,
and Pinky's sad. But the Brain actually leads in and starts puckering up like he's going to kiss Pinky. Did you two notice this?
No.
I think I forgot about it. I vaguely remember that. I'm just like, was he going to kiss? It even says it, I think, in the audio descriptions. And I was like, was he trying to kiss it? And I think it says in the audio descriptions, Brain leans in for a kiss.
He leans in to like kiss Pinky and then says, nah, and he backs off. It's very weird. Not because I'm like, oh my gosh, they're going to kiss or something, but it just felt so out of place and kind of just inappropriate for the moment, I suppose, more than anything.
Mm-hmm.
Like the Brain wouldn't. I just felt that was like kind of a weird.
I don't think he'd kiss anybody.
Yeah, that's very true. The Brain is not interested in. Well, there's a couple times where he's actually, I guess, fallen in love with some mice.
There's been a woman mouse that looked kind of like Pinky, right?
Yes, exactly. Well, there you go.
I don't know.
Maybe Pinky's his type. He just doesn't realize it. But I thought that was weird. One of our listeners had mentioned, why didn't you guys didn't even talk about it? And honestly, I didn't even notice it until I was editing the episode, and I was going, what just happened right there?
Yeah, I definitely heard it on the audio description, and I was like, what, really? And then I was like, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
because it just seems so out of character that
Yeah, and I just kind of out of the character just in general. Like, who does that? You know what I mean? Like, it doesn't seem like that was the right time to write in the Brain decides to lean in for a kiss because
it might be a story plot in season 2. Maybe
boy,
foreshadowing.
They're building the romantic tension.
I guess. Yeah. Well, at any rate, so Pinky's batting his eyes at the bandit, and then they get woken out of that story.
Yeah, and the Sultana loves it, but Brain is like, fine, you guys want another story? You want a story? I'll give you a story with twists. And that's when he tells the story of a character, Brainladin, who finds a lamp, and inside the lamp is this genie.
Hello, Aladdin. Brainladin. I'm here to grant you 3 wishes.
I am going to use the wishes to become the most rich and powerful being in all the land.
He has this whole kingdom now, but he has no one to rule. So he starts wishing for like staff, and the genie's like giving him like the object of a staff. You know, he doesn't quite understand what he wants. He thinks that this is I don't know. He starts telling the Brain about the birds and the bees. It's pretty fun.
What is the point of having a home like this if there's nobody here?
Oh, Brainladin, you're finally ready to start a family? How lovely! Look at me. You and I should have a talk about the birds and the bees. Now, one of them has feathers and the other has antlers, but I don't remember which one's which.
Again, this story is interrupted when Pinky's going to tell his story that he wants to tell about Pinkbad, the sailor, searching for a new feather. Or rather, a shirt. I don't know, something like that. And he wants to return it, but then he realizes that was just a dream that he had. And I think that's pretty much how it is.
It ends with the Brain kind of just getting really upset, and then talking about the gold leaf in this place.
Yeah, I guess Brain destroys the vase.
And then he starts getting chased out, but then he grabs Pinky. I think Pinky would have been fine living there with the Sultana. She seemed very happy to.
Yeah, she liked his stories. Lots of.
Yeah, they both were kind of dumb, but but I guess was the point. But what did you guys think about this 1001 Narfs? This really almost felt like a long segment. It really felt like we were trying to almost like watching a spin-off episode of the Pinky and the Brain show.
Yeah, I thought it was maybe 1,000 too many Narfs.
We just needed one.
One's enough.
Yeah, Kelly, let's start with you.
Oh, I feel like it was a pretty weak Pinky and the Brain segment, and of course I got the Aladdin nods. They called him Street Rat, and it was kind of set up like the beginning of Aladdin a little bit with the little cricket, grasshopper or whatever that was, kind of like Abu still in the food, and I mean that was kind of cute. I mean they probably could have worked in some actual Aladdin jokes or something that could have been funny.
Well, his name right there of Brainladin, it's kind of funny. Like, I guess that was kind of the point, that it sounded like such a nice little twist from Alibaba to Babrain, and then Brainladin. It's like, not doesn't quite. The first name was better.
But it was too long.
Nathan, what did you think?
I don't. Egwin was back, and I don't know how I feel about Egwin still.
I was just thinking. I was driving home.
It's very much Kenny. They killed Kenny South Park thing.
But wouldn't it have been just funnier just to have Larry? Just
have Larry instead.
And I'm Larry. Just and maybe Billy West. If you want to try to get Billy West to do the voice of Larry,
that'd be great.
But that would be expensive. So, but I mean, I wouldn't be upset if they got just somebody to do.
Yeah,
and I'm Larry, and then eats Larry. Like that'd be.
They could have got you to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. I'll do it for free.
Yeah, I'm like, I think I'm fine with Egwin, especially since it's such like a whatever joke, but. It's definitely trying to be a new thing, and I'm like, I guess it's fine. Like, I have no strong opinions about it.
The Sultana was kind of there was some interesting like references to modern technology, which may or may not last that long, depending on how things stick around. But like that's this has been canceled, and skip ad, when she's saying that, which is. Good. The woman doing the Sultana's voice, I liked her voice.
Yeah.
She did a good job. Post-recording note, the Sultana was actually voiced by Jamila Jamil, who you may know from things like The Good Place. So she's a fantastic actress, and she did a great job. Back to the previously recorded stuff.
The animation was really good. I mean, it kind of reminded me of Disney a little bit.
Yeah.
She was lovely. She wasn't one of those like really weird looking ugly characters they keep putting in as the humans throughout the series. So it was nice.
Her belly dances were a little ugly-ish, but.
But first, a word from our sponsors. Do you want delicious organic produce delivered right to your door? Introducing Surf on Your Turf. We find the poorest peasants and make them grow food on your land.
Oh, skip ad.
And then like the whole password protecting of the castle.
I thought that was funny.
That was funny, actually.
Yeah. So like
I like the what's a bus?
What's a how would you start tractors or buses? That's what it was.
Yeah,
you're right.
Which one of the bus? What's a bus?
What's a bus? Are you a robot?
I don't
know anymore. Yeah, that was good stuff.
That was probably my favorite part of the episode. That whole exchange.
And there was good stuff like with the the thieves and stuff where he's like, take that guy who doesn't even have a name, they kind of referencing to that, which was I guess kind of cute, but it still does. Again, even when the writers know like this isn't that funny, again, towards the end, the Sultan is going, "You're just doing, lazy parodies." It's like,
this whole segment is like lazy parodies, and I'm like,
exactly.
I love your ideas. They're so fresh and original. Unlike this guy's, he's just doing lazy parodies.
And it was just kind of disappointing because I'll be honest. I again, this was a cartoon where I started dozing off. I watched it again late at night, like I do sometimes.
Bottle of whiskey and a
bottle of whiskey and a
bottle
episode of Animaniacs,
sleeping pills, and yeah,
time to go to bed. Watch the Animaniacs. I fell asleep.
Maybe fall asleep. I don't know.
How dare this show? No, I watched it again, obviously, to watch it all, but it really isn't the most engaging, and it should be, because it felt like I should be laughing more at this than I was. You know what I mean? It was kind of I was like, is something wrong with me? What's going on here?
Pinky and the Brains have been pretty consistently good.
Yeah, other than
This
that
one. No.
one. Oh gosh, I see. I'm trying to burn them out of my brain now. But there was one Pinky and the Brain I did not like at all. Oh yes, of course, the one with Julia. Yeah, that one was. I don't like that.
That one had aspects it had potential.
Yeah, exactly. But even that one had at least pacing going for it. This one just felt like it was dragging. Like, oh man, take out at least one of these stories. We didn't need 3 stories. No, I get that the story is that there is 1,001 nights and there's a lot of Arabian tales to go through, but do we have to go through them all in this one segment? I mean, really?
And can we make them more interesting?
Yeah, can we make them a little funnier? And there was funny moments. It just really felt like
it was too spread out, far between. You had to wait too long to get to that funny moment.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I don't know. It was what it was, but perhaps not as narfy as it should have been.
Too many narfs.
Too many narfs. Too many narfs. No, it's too many cooks.
Shut up. That's John Mariano. He's the voice of Bobby from The Goodfeathers. And you're listening to the Animanicast. Will you untie me now? Shh, Coed. I'm listening to the program.
Hey, look at this. I got $4 in my pocket. Well, what should I do with it? Can't think of anything. I might as well just throw it in the street.
Hey, what are you doing?
What?
You can't just throw away money like that. There's a lot of things you could do with $4.
Like what?
Well, hey, you could become a patron over at patreon.com/Animanicast.
What?
That's right. You know what you could do? You could get a great commentary series with the creative Animaniacs, Tom Ruger.
Oh, really? For $4?
Yep, just for $4 a month, you can become a patron and get all that commentary right there.
Oh, wow. What if I only have $1?
Well, you could become a patron and just say, hey, here you go, Animanicast.
Oh, well, that's pretty cool. What if I have more than $4?
Well, then you can there's other tiers and stuff you can do if you want to, but, there's a lot of cool stuff. And it's a great way to support the show and all that jazz. And more importantly, you're getting the creative commentary series with Tom Ruger, so you can watch Animaniacs and learn stuff and have fun and do stuff. I don't know. Just do that instead.
You know what? You're right. I will not throw my $4 in the street right now. I'm going to patreon.com/Animanicast right now.
Okay. Let's go ahead and get to Manny Manspreader. And Manny Manspreader was written by Jess Latcher and Andrew Barbeau, and it was directed by Brett Varon. And Kelly, why don't you tell us what happens in Manny Manspreader?
Okay. The Warners have gone to the movies, and there's a new movie starring The Rock called Steamboat, which is funny because he's got Jungle Cruise coming out soon, which I don't... Is that a steamboat? That's not a steamboat. But anyway, it's a movie about a boat, kind of.
Yeah. It was supposed to have come out last summer, of course.
Yeah, it was supposed to, so I'm sure this was a direct reference to it, or at least, a somewhat reference.
They knew it was coming out, and we'll do it.
It's supposed to come out July 2020, so oh man, this is perfect.
I'm actually looking forward to it because they filmed it here, and a friend of mine was an extra in it, so it's always cool to see movies filmed here.
Yeah.
But anyway, so it's a movie called Steamboat, and it's actually a casino boat, and it's very dramatic. And So Wacko's excited because there's supposed to be a giant crab in it.
I heard The Rock gained 80 pounds in his biceps for this movie.
I heard his performance as a recovering gambling addict is generating early Oscar buzz.
I heard there's a giant crab.
And so they sit down, eating their nachos and everything. And then a guy with really long legs sits down, and he actually sits between them. And then he spreads his legs, man spreading. So he takes up way too much room.
I believe we are experiencing the cultural phenomenon known as manspreading. Now then, you see, Dot, when a man...
Shush! I don't need a mansplaining song about manspreading.
And they keep trying to move his legs out of the way and get him to shift in his seat, ask him to move over. He's completely oblivious. He keeps squirting his drink in their face. He's not even phased. He's so unlike anybody the Warners have ever come up against because he just doesn't even acknowledge their existence.
Yes,
They're
true.
like a gnat, that he's not even bothering to swat away. So, so then they finally are like, oh, this means Warners. And,
They didn't say it right.
He said, this means Warner Brothers, and then Dot says Warner Sister.
Yeah.
But it's like, oh, okay, now y'all are bringing in the Warner. Y'all should have started that from the beginning. So it still doesn't do a whole lot of good, but they shift tactics and decide to use the audience.
Well, I don't care what the guy in C-37 says. That hat is very slimming.
I beg your pardon?
He's over there, over on the right side of the theater.
Oh, you don't smell nearly as bad as the person in B3 said.
What? Where?
Over there, on the left.
They keep making up stuff. So then they have like the right and the left of the audience getting ready to do battle royale. And then they kind of converge upon each other and start fighting. And, the guy's still sitting there oblivious right in the middle of it. And he's still not even affected. He's so engrossed in the movie. And so, but they pile all on top of each other.
We will not go quietly into the night.
They may take our lives, but they'll never take
Wacko's excited because he finally gets to see the giant crab. And then they're able to enjoy the movie. And then after the movie, they get on the bus. And the Manspreader, Manny the Manspreader, actually comes on the bus and asks, is that seat taken? And that's kind of where it ends.
The end. Yeah, there you go. There was an explosion. When you push those legs together, they kind of exploded with an anime... Chling, and explosion.
With lightning.
With lightning, yes. Well, what did you think about Manny Manspreader? Let's start with Nathan. What did you think?
It made me want to go to the movie theaters. No,
I wish I could go to the movie. I actually did think the same thing. Like, oh man, remember the movie theaters when you?
That's another thing. Like, there's so many aspects of this that are just like dated by November 2020. It's just like, yeah, no one went to a movie theater at all.
Remember in 2020, you'll be able to see the Jungle Cruise movie, and the theater will be packed. And
right, there's not going to be packed theater, and then like trying to find your seat. That's a thing of the past. I don't think
that is
like,
true.
Indie theaters were doing that even before 2019. It was kind of getting phased out in a lot of theaters.
That is one of the nicest things to happen, by the way, of movie theaters lately, is just being able to reserve your seat ahead of time.
Oh, yeah. It causes me so much anxiety to have to try to find a seat. That's why I always sit there like 30 minutes before the movie starts.
I mean, I don't know why they didn't start this early. Like, why didn't they do this? Well, I guess because of the internet, people didn't have phones and everything with them. But, I mean, gosh, just not being able to have to worry about when I'm seeing a Star Wars film or something like that, about having to line up beforehand for hours and hours on end and then rush into the thing and then where are my friends and why...
Can we all sit together? Hope we could sit together. I don't know.
Which is honestly so silly, because I was just thinking about the other day. It's like when you do get your big giant group of friends and you take up a giant row But
yeah, you can't talk to
each other. It's like
but the guy at the very end of the row. You're not like, hey, did you see Green Lantern? Just
look at Green Lantern. This is a bad movie.
I told you he was in this movie. It's really bad.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's So in some ways I was just like, but when there's a group of three, I mean, come on, Manny, sitting in between a group. I mean, that was.
Did you see who voiced Manny?
I did not, because his voice was really low.
It's Wellesley Wild, the showrunner.
Really?
Yeah. I was like, oh, that's interesting. Like,
well, there you go.
I think it's the first time he's voiced any characters on Animaniacs, I believe.
Well, that's been
first time I've
at
seen.
Least.
Yeah, exactly.
So that was okay. Well, good. That was nice. The Abyss Boy soda was back. Abyss Boy, he was Wacko was drinking this soda, and of course he drank that same Abyss Boy soda when he had a faulty emergency.
So that's a nice little.
Yeah.
Was that written in, do you think, or did the animators just add that themselves?
You know what? I don't know. I would hope that the writers wrote it in, but either way, I don't really care, because
someone's a fan, and
someone was a fan, and they knew that if they're going to a movie theater, Wacko needs to have a big soda, and it has to say Abyss Boy on it.
Yeah,
so,
I like it.
Very good. But
I feel like there are some animators that are huge fans. Just like the fact that Wacko's A is a 2, you know, just makes it like
yeah,
that.
There are people that are paying attention definitely to small details.
Mm-hmm. And it pays off. Very nice. So thank you.
Yes, thank you for whoever did that. That was very cool. I do wish that the segment was. It felt kind of cringy during the entire thing. It could have definitely.
I was tired of looking at the guy's crotch.
Yeah, it really didn't feel. Made the whole cartoon kind of made me feel uncomfortable.
Maybe that was the intent.
I guess
that's what it's like when you're sitting next to someone that's.
But then I'd rather be laughing than feeling comfortable in a cartoon.
It's not the feeling I want to have when I watch an Animaniacs
cartoon. I should mention there's a couple other references as well. We're doing the references totally out of order, but I don't care. But Braveheart was referenced in 300 and a sports movie. Remember
Rocky when they're punching the legs.
Yeah. So there's some movie references in there, but yeah, there's it is what it is.
The Rock movie was actually better.
Yeah, I was
the rest of the episode.
You know what? I was enjoying the Rock stuff more than the Warners too. Like they're
gonna have a
gambling
sequel
with our lives.
They're gonna have
so funny.
The Royal Flush.
Yeah, she's like nobody escapes the Royal Flush or something like that. And
John, you're gambling with our lives. We need to get off this riverboat.
There's no folding on the Royal Flush. We're all in.
Yeah, that was actually cleverly written, like all the casino or the gambling jokes.
Yeah, and then I'm from Louisiana, or what? Like, where is he from? That he eats crabs, like
Massachusetts? Was it Massachusetts?
Yeah, Baltimore or something like that.
Yeah,
Maryland.
There we go.
So he was, So it was. Yeah, the Rock stuff was better than the Warner stuff.
Yeah. I agree. We found out the crab is his daughter.
Yes,
right?
That's character development, as Dot says.
Which is also similar to the previous segment with weird
twist.
stuff. Yeah, weird twists that just don't really make sense. But audience likes it anyways.
Yeah. Real quick.
So what you're saying is Pinky actually wrote the script for
probably.
Well, let's go ahead and get to our water tower rating. What do you guys think on a scale of 1 to 5?
Why don't you tell us first for once?
Yeah, you always make us go first.
Yeah.
Fine.
You go last. You get to take our numbers.
Out of 5 water towers. Well, I'm going to be generous. Even though I'm not 100% sure I should be giving this 3, I'm going to give it 3. Just because I didn't really feel anything really offended me in this one or anything. It felt like an Animaniacs episode for the most part. It just didn't feel as funny as it should have been, however. And the pacing on it just kind of... It didn't feel as punched up as it should have been, perhaps. So, but overall, I mean, it was fine. I just didn't find it that incredibly funny. But now, what do you two think? Let's see, Nathan, what do you think?
I think we should go with Kelly first.
Okay, fine.
What's my lowest score so far?
You want to give this lower than your lowest?
No, not necessarily. Okay. I was just curious what my lowest score is.
Your lowest is a 1.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, because I was thinking, I was like, there's one that I think made me angry. I'm gonna go. I'm gonna go 2.
Okay.
Why is that?
Well, yeah, it just wasn't funny, but it wasn't offensive or it didn't make me angry or, I just didn't care.
Yeah. Nathan, what about you?
All right, I wrote this down ahead of time so I wouldn't be influenced by you guys.
Okay.
3.5.
Wow.
Because I think I liked the Zit song, even though it grossed me out the first time. It just reminds me of I'm Mad, and I liked I'm Mad. So, and, I'm just basing off like the other episodes I gave 3 to. I'm like, I think this is slightly better than that. Maybe. I don't know. It was really boring in the Pinky and the Brain one.
Yeah, I know.
Which is so sad because Pinky and the Brain's always the best segment.
Yeah, I think I was mostly disappointed by that because I was like, but like we're going to get a long Pinky and the Brain because the song was so short. But I was like, no, never mind.
But, it was fine. I didn't I wasn't offended by anything. So, and
I mean, that's our benchmark.
I know.
I wasn't offended. It's so funny because for a show that's quote unquote so politically correct and everything, we keep getting offended.
Well, yeah, but for different reasons, we're getting offended because, either at least for me, gross. I get offended when they get either too gross or I feel that it's a misunderstanding of who the characters and what the show is.
Yeah, if they're mean to the Warners or something. Yeah.
Yeah, if the characters just don't feel you watch 100 episodes of something and you kind of have some idea, you see the patterns of what the characters do and how they act and their chemistry. And so when you sometimes see that go completely against what you've seen, it kind of makes you go, huh? But I didn't see any of that in this one. So, but yeah, I don't know if anybody else gets offended at Animaniacs 2020 other than us sometimes. But this episode was not offensive to us and our Animaniacs brains. Well, I think we should go ahead and get to our contact information. Nathan, where can people get in contact with you online?
Joey, I'm on Twitter, JangoFT. That's me.
All right. And Kelly, what about you?
I'm also on Twitter, Yoda Princess, YODA, PRNCSS, or you can email me, Kelly at BigShinyRobot.com.
All right, and as for the Animanicast, you can find us on Twitter and Facebook and Instagram and Patreon. That's right. If you go to patreon.com/Animanicast, you can become a patron. Yes, you too, Nathan. I don't know why you would, but you could do it. You could have access to the conversations we've already had with Tom Ruger. What was that?
I already heard those.
You already heard them. Okay, you're going to get for free then. But if you would like to hear commentaries, we're doing a commentary series with the creator of Animaniacs, Tom Ruger, and we're going through every episode of the original series. And it's been a real blast. We just recorded a bunch more, and man, that's fun. That's so much fun going through them. So I hope you all enjoying those. Thank you to our patrons who help support our show and cover the cost and help make our show even better every day. So you can also, of course, reach out to us over on our Discord group. We're a member of the RetroZap Podcast Network, so head on over to the RetroZap Discord group. You can get a welcome link by going to discord.animanicast.com. It'll bring you right in there. You can talk about anything pop culture, not just Animaniacs. And it's a great, positive group of people there, which is always nice. Well, that'll do it for today's episode. So, for Nathan and Kelly, this is Joey saying, good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
Good night, everybody.
This podcast is not endorsed by Warner Brothers or Amblin Entertainment and is intended for entertainment and information purposes only. Animaniacs, Tiny Toon Adventures, Freakazoid, the Warner Brothers logo, all names, pictures, and sounds are registered trademarks and/or copyrights of their respective trademark and copyright holders. All original content of this podcast is the intellectual property of the Animanicast unless otherwise indicated.
I'm sorry having a literal magic cave does not impress you. I think we could all use a little more childlike wonder and a little less cynicism.